Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far, and welcome to today's video, which is the long awaited next episode of my You Do Not Need That series, where I'm talking about new tempting releases, and this video is for you if you want to be talked out of buying these incredibly juicy, spicy looking products, if you're trying to cut down on makeup spending, if you're saving money, if you're a no buy or a low buy, or you're just trying to avoid the FOMO. Perhaps these products aren't going to be available in your country, or you just can't buy them right now when they are released. This is the video for you. I'm here to help. So without further ado, let's get started. Maybe my hair should go this side so it's not constantly being blown into my face by the fan that's over there. Hopefully it's not too annoying. I've got the quiet one in here today, but it is blowing my hair right into my face. So that's fun for me. Okay, so first up, let's talk about the Lancome Care and Glow foundation. This is tempting. There's a lot of positive reviews coming out, but if you don't have the money for it right now, you're not missing out. This is a permanent foundation. It's going to be around. We don't have to panic buy it. We don't have to run out and buy it because a few people have said that it's really nice and it works for them. Remember, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be as incredible on you. If you have been telling yourself this is going to be the foundation to end all foundations, it's going to blur your skin, make you look 15 again, it's going to cover all your lines and all your sins and what you had for breakfast, it's going to be so much more beautiful than all of the other foundations I've ever tried, I beg you, stop it. Stop fibbing to yourself. Go and have a look in your drawer, your foundation drawer, full of foundations, the foundation graveyard. I'm sure many of us have one of those. Go and have a little peek in there. Do you have, by chance, the Dior Forever Skin Glow foundation in there? Do you have the Shiseido Radiant Lifting foundation in there? Do you have the Clé de Peau Radiant Fluid Foundation Natural in there? Do you have the Chanel No. 1? Do you have the Chanel Healthy Glow? Do you have the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate? Do you have the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue? Do you have the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation? The list could go on and on and on and on. You get the point, you get the point. If you have any or many or several of those foundations that I've just listed, and many, many more of the medium coverage, luminous, smoothing, perfecting, long wearing, smudge proof, transfer proof, clean foundations, do you really honestly need an extra one, a 25th? One of those exact same foundations? How different, how much better do you think this one will be than any and all of those that I've just reeled off? And I know that there are way more that tick all these boxes, that fit into those same categories. Use what you have. Remember that they are all very similar foundations. They do a similar job, similar coverage, similar finish. This one is not going to be wildly different. It may be slightly different. There may be slight differences about it with those that you already have, but that's definitely not a reason to rush out when you have those already there to use. Okay, you can wait. It's permanent. Wait for a sale. Ask for it for Christmas. Get some vouchers. There's no need to panic. If you're on a low buy or no buy, this is an easy pass. While we're on the topic of foundations, let's also talk and cover the new Hourglass Soft Glow foundation. Here's the thing, Hourglass, very unreliable when it comes to foundation. Their previous foundation was a big fat fail for the vast majority of people who tried it. For several reasons. It was incredibly heavy, over the top, crazy insane coverage, and we definitely took the blame for that. We were using too much, we weren't applying it correctly, it was tricky to work with, and it was all of our fault. Okay, so there's number one. There were a few people who liked it, don't get me wrong, but there were not many of them. Their stick foundation is slightly more popular, but again, it's one of those where you either love it or you hate it. It doesn't work for everybody. I'm not expecting this one to be any different. I don't have any reason to believe that they have wildly improved their ability to formulate an incredible foundation. The second reason why you should steer clear, for now at least, of this foundation is Hourglass have form for terrible shades, for very warm leaning shades. Unless you are incredibly warm of skin tone, most of these shades, my prediction is they are going to look very orange on you. This has happened to me. I've tried 5, 6, 7 different shades from Hourglass. They all make me look a particular shade of Oompa Loompa, which is not necessarily what I'm going for the vast majority of the time. So 100% this is a pricey foundation, okay? I beg of you, get shade matched, go outside into the natural daylight and check the level of Oompa Loompa that you've achieved before you lay a single penny anywhere near this foundation, okay? You definitely need to be trying this, sampling this, trying it on your skin, waiting for reviews and checking whether or not we're headed back to Willy Wonka's factory or not before we think about even looking directly at it. That would be my advice. Hold your horses, certainly wait for a review, certainly get shade matched and make sure you're looking at it in your own mirror and not just relying on the salesperson who promised you don't look as orange as a Tango Blast, okay? We need to be checking these things for ourselves. We can't rely on being shade matched in store, especially not when it comes to Hourglass foundations. Get samples, try it first, wait for a review. I don't think there's going to be anything special about this. And there's a high risk that we're going to end up looking approximately this shade of orange. Next, let's talk about an excruciatingly tempting little number snuck up on us the last couple of weeks, and this is Pat McGrath's Mothership 10. Don't look, okay? Close your eyes. Do what I do when I'm watching a scary film. When it gets to a scary moment, I like to adopt half eyes, okay? That's what we do. We look with a squint. I call it half eyes. You can also do this by covering your hands like this, so you can see what's going on. You're not missing out. You can see who's been murdered. You can see who's been captured. You can see who's survived. But for some reason, when you've only got half vision, it's not as frightening, okay? So that's my advice to you here. Either apply the half hands, squint, or cover one eye or wink. Half eyes. It's going to look way less beautiful and way less attractive, okay? Way less appealing with only half of your vision. That's my advice, top tip. If you still fear that you may be tempted, just close your eyes altogether. It's just for the best. Now, I understand this is a beautiful, gorgeous looking eyeshadow palette. It's got all the shimmer. It's Pat McGrath. It's her 10th Mothership. But wait a minute. Hold your horses. Put your card back in your purse for a second. I beg you. While these are new shades, this definitely has a very similar vibe to the last 3 or 4 Mothership palettes that we have seen from the brand. There are no completely unique shades in here, anything special that we don't already have in our collection. Yes, it is Pat McGrath and it's a beautiful colour story. Don't get me wrong, I think it's gorgeous. That's why I'm here to help us, okay? Because this is tempting, I hear you, I get it. But number one, I do think we have these shades and I do think we have this look, this vibe from Pat McGrath, and we certainly have it from many other brands as well. There's nothing crazily unique that you're missing out on if you don't buy this. Second of all, these Motherships are permanent and we know that Mother loves a good sale, okay? She has them every few months. These sales are popping up 30% off. Do you honestly want to be robbed of like £120 or whatever this is going to be priced at, when in a maybe 3 or 4 months time you could get it for like maybe 80? Because I know I don't. And here's the thing, these are permanent. You can wait, you can bide your time, you can wait for that sale and almost get it for like half price of what us mugs are gonna pay for it so that we can do a review. You don't have to do that, you know. Wait. Pay the crazy lower price that it will be in a good few months. Save your money. Do you still want it by then? Here's the thing, you've got a cooling off period here. If you don't rush out and buy it the second it launches, see how you feel about it in a few weeks' time. Once you've seen the reviews, once you've seen the swatches, once you've seen how it looks on the eyes, and you've seen some comparison swatches. Actually, I kind of have all of this. I can keep my £120 in my pocket. Treat myself to something that is not just eyeshadow. Crazy ideas. But like I said, this is a permanent palette. It's going to be reduced wildly, probably within the next 3 or 4 months. If you still want it by then, you've got yourself a bargain and a deal, and you can laugh in all of the faces of the creators and the people who rushed out and bought it on day one because you got a much better price. Isn't that lovely? Isn't it nice to be smug? Next up, let's talk about the ABH Nouveau Eyeshadow palette. I feel like there's been a lot of noise about this. I've definitely contributed to that noise. I enjoyed this palette. The main reason for all the noise around this palette is just because it's a bit of a comeback for ABH. I don't think it's necessarily that this palette is incredibly special or unique or different or offers us anything that we don't really already have in our collection. The excitement is mainly around, oh my goodness, ABH have brought out an eyeshadow palette that we actually want to buy for the first time in who knows how many months, years. In fact, it's been years. We're excited to see the brand going back to what they do best, but that gives me a sense that there's going to be more ABH palettes coming out. We're going back in time, a simpler time, if you will, to a time when every 4 or 5 or 6 months ABH released a gorgeous, stunning eyeshadow palette that we were all mega excited to go and get. And this, I feel like, is the first of many going back down that road. There may be one that you actually prefer far more than you do this one as far as colour story, etc. So hold your horses. If you're not fully obsessed in love with this one, I think there's more coming. I feel that there are more coming soon. But also, when we really look at this eyeshadow palette, is there really anything in here that you don't have? This, a lot of people kind of likened this to the Natasha Denona Mini Retro colour story. So if you have the Mini Retro from Natasha Denona, do you need this one, or do you have everything in here other than that purple? That purple is very similar to lots of shades that we've already had from ABH. Again, if you have a large ABH collection, if you have Norvina, you've probably got a similar purple to the one that's in here. And even if you don't, are you going to use that shade a lot? Is that the shade that you're wanting to buy this palette for? If so, I mean, you could just buy a single and have that one, because you've definitely got all the other neutrals and very repetitive shades that are in here. Really pretty much a soft glam palette with a pop of purple, okay? You can skip it. Next up, let's talk about another incredibly painfully tempting product, potentially the most tempting product from this whole bunch that we're talking about today, and this is the upcoming Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk cheek palettes. So according to my secret sources, well, not that secret because they're right there, but you know, trying to add some mystery. Shoot me. There are apparently going to be 2 depths of this palette, which we love. We love to see 2. Last time in the New Galsm palette, we only got 1 shade. We like to see a light and a deep option. That's great news. Here's the thing. These are stunning to look at. The packaging is there to suck us in. So again, I'm going to suggest either the half eyes or the goggles that we've done before. We know goggles, we've done that. We're all very, very well practiced at goggles now. We're not going to look at the packaging. That makes no difference to how a product works, so we don't even need to see it. We're only going to look at this for the product that's inside. And this is 2 highlights and 2 blushes, okay? Look me in my eyes and tell me you don't have highlights from Charlotte Tilbury already. You don't have any highlights from that brand, because these are going to be the same. Did you buy her Pillow Talk highlighters from her previous collection? Do you have any of her limited edition, her Superstar highlights? You have any of those? Because these are going to be Charlotte Tilbury highlights. They're all very, very similar to each other. Do you need 2 more in slightly different shades? That's my question. Do you also feel like you don't have these blush colours? Try again. At the end of the day, these are a couple of Charlotte Tilbury highlights and a couple of blushes, of which we all have these colours times 426, okay? The packaging and the fact that they're all in the same place in a little palette is what's sucking us in here, isn't it? But we're smarter than that. We've seen that for what it is. It's 2 blushes and 2 highlights. Will we get a lot of use out of it? Will another one be coming along in a few months' time? Will we be wanting to get the Hourglass ambient lighting palette that come out every year at Christmas? Be honest, because these are going to be expensive. Is this the best use of your 70 odd pounds? Or would you be better off saving, waiting for the sale, waiting for holiday, asking for it for Christmas? Because I'm sure these will still be around by then. Put it on your Christmas wish list. If you still really want it that badly in a few months' time, then you've probably earned it, you know? Or you've earned someone else to buy it for you. We're all very good girls here. Next, let's talk about the easiest skippable eyeshadow palette I've perhaps ever seen in my life. I promise you that there is not one single person on this earth who needs the Natasha Denona Mini Bronze palette. Now, I am a basic lady when it comes to eyeshadow. I like a neutral, soft glam eyeshadow look. That's all I do. Yet I physically couldn't force myself to get excited about this one. Okay, if you have the Natasha Denona Bronze palette, the shades are not identical. They're not grabbed literally from the larger bronze palette, but they basically are, aren't they? They might not have the same shade names, but let's face it, these are the same shades that we've already seen in the bronze palette. There are shades like this in Metropolis as well. There's shades like this, let's face it, in every single palette that we've ever purchased. Bieber has these same shades. This is a very, very warm quint. I do like saying that word, okay, I'll give it that. Any opportunity to say the word quint and I get excited. That's why I included this palette, because I know that I don't need to tell you you don't need this. You definitely know that. We've graduated past this, haven't we? We know we do not need this. We've got a million of these colours. We've even got a million of these colours from this brand. If you brought the Glam face and eye, the cheek and eye palettes, you know the ones I'm talking about. If you bought Mini Glam, is that what it was called? Mini Nude. If you bought literally any neutral palette before in your life, or any warm tone palette before in your life, you've got 58 of this. Don't you dare, don't you dare. You know better. You do not need that. Not one single person needs this. This is the most redundant palette I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Nobody needs it. You're not missing anything. You've already got it. I promise you. I know you're probably telling yourself, this is only, oh, but it's so cheap. It's only 25. It's not like spending £120 on a Pat McGrath palette, but those little 20 odd pounds here and there add up to a Pat McGrath palette. Did you know that? 3.5 of those and you're on sale could have bought your Mothership palette. So just remember that. These £20, they're not free money, okay? Doesn't not count because it's only 2 figures. We don't need it. We've got it. We're not missing out on anything. Next up, let's talk about these upcoming Charlotte Tilbury concealers. This is going to be very tempting for big fans like myself of the brand. I'm sure this is going to be a good, decent, nice concealer. Again, a permanent product we don't need to rush out and buy. Charlotte Tilbury, believe it or not, they have duds. They have some failed products for me, and the concealer was one of them. Creased on me, wasn't that great, didn't like the applicator. Definitely wait for review. Definitely use up the concealers you already have that tick all the same boxes. This one is very likely, I think, my best guess is this will be like a medium coverage concealer that has like a natural finish, natural matte finish perhaps, potentially. That's what I'm expecting from this concealer. We have the Huda, we have the Pat McGrath, we have the Tom Ford. If you splashed out on that bad boy, you definitely need to use that one up. The Dior, there are many concealers that will do pretty much more or less what this one will do. If you're thinking this one is going to be the one that finally covers my darkness more than any other concealer before, this is going to be the one that's going to perfect my under eye areas and take 25 years off of my age, then I almost feel bad because I don't think it is going to do that. And I say that with love. I say it with love and kindness. And I'm coming from a place of love. Tough love. But I'd be very surprised, is what I'm saying. Save your money. Use the concealers you've got. When you need a new concealer, get 20% off somewhere and you're winning. Okay? You don't need to run out and buy another one. You don't need a drawer full of concealers that are going to expire. Just wait. Hold your horses. You're not missing out. Wait for a review. Wait for a review. Maybe it will turn out that it sucks. Maybe it will turn out that it's useless and awful and you can have the last and loudest laugh of all. Isn't that a treat? And lastly, but by no means leastly, let's talk about these Guerlain eyeshadow quads. These are somehow £62. Now, if that doesn't do it, these are Guerlain eyeshadows. I don't know about you, but when I think of eyeshadow in that price range, I'm thinking Pat McGrath, I'm thinking Natasha Denona, I'm thinking the best of the best. eyeshadow formulas out there. And I don't know if I missed a memo, but I don't think of Guerlain as being like the eyeshadow queens. I don't think of Guerlain and think, yeah, they are the bosses when it comes to eyeshadow. I feel like they have average formulas and average colour stories, and this is not giving me anything to change my mind. It's £62 for 4 Guerlain eyeshadows. Alright, I mean, it's almost too easy. They're making it too easy for me. You don't want to buy these, do you? Do you? You can get a midi Natasha Denona palette for that. A few months ago you could get a Pat McGrath Mothership for that. You definitely could do better with your £62, alright? This is a madness, okay? Don't even think about it. Put it back. Put it back, okay? Don't make me come down there, because I will do it. So there you have it. Those are the most tempting offerings that I could find on the interwebs to talk you out of today. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.